Hey everyone, this is Abhijit and I welcome you all to this short video. I'm going to create discussion about the switching fundamentals. I interact with many network engineers and irrespective of the experience that they carry, they lack the fundamental understanding of how concepts like routing and switching works, and it is really important for network engineer to focus on the fundamentals and be aware about how exactly the technology functions. And if you don't focus on the fundamentals, then it even gets worse when you start building your knowledge around the advanced concepts. So that's why I thought of creating a short video which will help you understand what switching is all about in a really quick short discussion.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
Now, as we know that the switching is a fundamental concept in network engineering, and it plays a vital role in today's digital world. It's really a backbone of our modern communication systems, which enables us to share data and resources quickly and efficiently. If we take a scenario, let's say that we have a small business called San Cisco Solutions, right? So this is an organization that started with just 5 employees working from maybe a small office. Now that small office is gonna have the broadband internet coming in, so we can say that this is your ISP, and that ISP is giving you the connectivity to your office. So maybe this is the office of San Cisco Solutions, and then there are few people sitting in. So we have one PC over there, we have another PC, we have another PC, maybe another PC, and last one more PC. So we have 5 PCs available in the office, and we have a router. Now that's our broadband router, where the connectivity from the ISP is directly coming up. So all these 5, I mean, the network setup was simple. All the 5 employees were connected to the single internet using, or to the internet using the single basic home router. So maybe we have connectivity from here, from here, from here, from here, and from here, right? And let's assume that the router has about 8 ports, which will maybe allow you to add 2 more users, because one port is definitely going to be the WAN port, and then we are using 5 more ports. So totally we have consumed about 6 ports of the router out of the 8 port router that we have. Now as the business grew, the San Cisco Solutions expanded its team to maybe 20 employees. So there are like a lot of employees now which are added, and it's spread across different departments also, like sales and support and development and administration. It can be anything. Each employee now requires not only the internet access, but it also requires the ability, or it also needs the ability to share large files across the team, to communicate across the team, right? To connect to shared resources like printers and servers and other stuff. So when you look at the expansion, that exactly introduces a few limitations. Now, when you look at the problem statement over here with scalability, the problem is limited connectivity right? And you can also say that you would have a performance bottleneck, right? So with all 20 employees trying to access the network through a single router, the San Cisco Solutions began to experience significant issues. So there can be various types of issues that will be introduced over here. One, you would have I would say network congestion, right? The basic router will not be able to handle the traffic generated by 20 devices trying to access the network simultaneously, and as a result, internet speeds will slow down, and file transfers will also become painfully slow because the congestion is there. Then the second problem that you would have is limited ports, of course, right? So the home router had only a few Ethernet ports, and since most employees needed wired connections for better speed and stability, there weren't, you can say, enough ports for to connect everyone. Obviously you may think that why don't we use Wi-Fi or so, but the priority of the organization is to use wired connectivity for better quality. The third problem which will be introduced is security, of course, because all the devices were part of the same network without any segmentation, which meant that any device could access or could communicate with any other device on the network. So you can say motive of creating departments like sales and administration and HR and all that cannot be achieved with that. And it also raises concerns about the data privacy between the departments. And the fourth problem which will be introduced over here, it's going to be the broadcast traffic overload, right? So you can say with everyone connected to the same network, the router had to process and send all the broadcast like ARP request to every device, creating unnecessary load. And these are the problem statements that we look at. Now when you look at the solutions, then so what can we do to fix these issues? Let me just pull this up a bit. And when you look at the solutions, right? So to address these problems, the San Cisco solution decided to invest in a switch, in a network switch, I would say. So unlike a basic router, a switch can intelligently forward the traffic based on specific devices connected to it. And it ensures that only the intended recipient receives that particular data. Now here's how the switching will help you. Number one, switching is going to, or implementing switch, I would say, will give below benefits, right? Number one, you're gonna see increased network capacity. That's one of the benefit that you'll get, right? So a switch provided, it provides enough ports to connect all the 20 employees directly. So the scenario would kind of change from this to this, where the ISP is there, then you have your own router, and then you have your switch, and then that switch can connect to about 20 employees. So you just introduced a switch in between. I think my face, so I'll just move this diagram a bit up. There you go. Yeah, this is how the topology now would look like, where you have a new device before it actually connects. Usually these 20 employees earlier would directly connect to the router, but now the router is connecting to the switch, and the switch will have all the 20 employees connected to it. So because there can be switches ranging from 8 ports to 16 ports to 24 ports to 48 ports to 96 ports to 182 ports to 396 ports, there's a lot of capabilities that you can have in terms of how many ports you can get for a switch. So a switch provides enough ports to connect all the 20 employees directly, which is the requirement of the organization right now, without needing to rely on a few router ports or network hubs or so. Definitely we don't talk about hubs now. Everyone knows that hubs are dumb devices. So I'm just comparing it directly with router. The second benefit that it would introduce is improved performance, of course. Yeah. So with the switch, data that is sent from one device to another device is forwarded directly without going through the router, which means the communication is not going to be like from here it will go to the router and then it will go somewhere else. No, the communication can directly go from here to here if the communication is intended within the LAN segment, right? But if the communication is intended to somewhere else, maybe a server connected over here to google.com, wherever, then of course the communication will go from switch to the router and then to the outside, right? So this basically, the local communication reduces the load on the router. That's our one of the main motives, right? The router has limited capacity to handle the amount of traffic that it gets, and we only want to disturb router when the traffic is about making communication with the internet or something like that, right? So for example, a developer sharing large files with design team will experience faster file transfer without slowing down the internet access, because now it's just the local communication that's happening, right? Then the third benefit which will be introduced, that's going to be about the network segmentation. And by using VLANs or virtual LANs on the switch, the SAN Cisco solution could create isolated networks for different departments. For instance, the sales and the support team could be on separate VLANs, right? And it will enhance the data security, and it will of course reduce the risk of accidental access to sensitive information. So that helps it a lot. And you're gonna have of course a reduced broadcast traffic. Yeah, so the switches learn the MAC addresses of devices connected to each port, which allows them to forward the traffic only to the specific port where the recipient's device is located. Now this reduces the unnecessary traffic and it improves, you can say, network efficiency. So that helps a lot. And lastly, you're also gonna see scalability issue being resolved. So as the company continues to grow, the switches will make it easier to expand the network by simply adding more switches and connect them to the router, right? Or connect switches to switches, create hierarchical network, right? And it will expose more and more and more and more ports, irrespective of you have 20 people joining the network or 100 or 200 or 500 or 1000. You can just expand it at any scale by adding more switches to your network, right? So it creates more structured and manageable network device. So when we look at the conclusion, switching was required in the SAN Cisco solutions network to handle the increasing number of devices. It improves performance, right? One is you can say handle increasing number of devices. Second, you can say it increases performance. Third, you get enhanced security, right? And fourth is you reduce the unnecessary traffic, the broadcast traffic. So without switching, the network would have remained inefficient, congested, insecure as the business keeps on growing. So this shows how switching transforms a basic network into scalable, high performance and secure infrastructure, which enables businesses to operate smoothly as they grow. So this understanding of switches is from the business perspective, that why organizations need switches at all. And why can't we just use routers, right? When you have this understanding proper with you, then it helps you keep your motive straightforward, that okay, this is why we need switching, and then you can learn about how switching operates. This video is not intended to discuss how switches learn their MAC addresses, how unknown unicast floods happens and all that. This video is from the business perspective to help network engineers understand that what is the motive behind implementing switching in your infrastructure. I hope you enjoyed the content of this video, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any thoughts and comments and questions, please drop them in the comments below, and we'd be happy to answer your queries. and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Thank you so much. Peace out.